Here is an Israeli army soldier who explains his experience on smuggling Ethiopian Jews to Israel. Listen carefully of what he has to say.
The village, from the sky, we could see it on the palm of our hand, surrounded by never-ending wheat fields, which were still green. The wheat was green because it was still early April. It hadn't turned yellow yet. And in the middle of the village, a tukul 20 times the size of the one behind me. You couldn't miss it. It was big, circular structure with a roof just like this. And on the top of it, made out of tin, was a Magen David, the Star of David. And when I saw the Star of David from the sky, I was just overwhelmed, and I got very excited. And my friends are just like, were floating down next to me. I'm pointing like, look, 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 look. And they're going like, will you chill out? I was always a little bit strange. But they're like, we're in the end of the world, and there's a Magen David. These people are really Jews. You have to understand, the people in this village have never seen an airplane before. So despite the early hour of the morning, when they heard a big chunk of metal flying over the sky, in the sky over their village, and then they looked and they saw 12 people falling from the sky, they said, this is interesting. And by the time we hit the ground, we were surrounded by close to 700 villagers from all sides who looked at us, got down on their stomachs, and began to crawl up to us, and they began to kiss our feet. Ladies and gentlemen, if any of you are totally overwhelmed by this talk, and at the end of which you feel an urge to kiss my feet, that's fine. But when 700 people do it at once, it was a little bit unnerving. And I'm looking at them and saying, no, this is crazy, because I understood. We just fell out of the sky. They think we're not wearing uniforms. They don't know we're soldiers. They think we're angels from heaven.
Why were Israeli soldiers not wearing uniform to go rescue Ethiopian Jews to take them to Israel? Was it a plan for them to disguise themselves? Well, of course they had to disguise themselves because this was a secret operation.
And I said to my translator, Lo Naim, no, this is not, tell them. I'm a 25-year-old officer in the Israeli army. I'm not an angel. Tell them we're soldiers. So he did, and that changed their mood. Oh! Now they want to kill us. And they're coming in, and I said, no, that's not good. No, that's not good. Tell them we're good soldiers. Didn't mean a thing. Oh! I said, no. Tell them we're Jewish soldiers. It didn't mean a thing to them. Oh! No! Tell them we're from Israel. He tried. No, it didn't help. It didn't mean a thing to them. Oh! I said, tell them we're from Jerusalem. And he looks at them and he says, Jerusalem. And they're like, oh.
Why were Ethiopians not shocked when they tried to say that they were from Israel? Because Ethiopians were already called Beta Israel. Israel was not something that they thought was outside of them. But when it came to the word Jerusalem, it became a different story.
Did you ever see in cartoons when one of the characters is really surprised, his eyes pop out of his side? Boing! I never thought I'd see that happen to 700 people at once. I said, cool, do that again. I don't know how you did that, but that was cool. And he goes, Jerusalem! Ah! And the oldest man amongst those who were surrounding us gets back down on his stomach and he crawls up to us and he begins to kiss my feet again. And I said, I thought we were done with this. What is it? Only at the end of that day did I find out what this had been all about. It seems that in the Ethiopian Jewish community, one of the first traditions, legends that they teach the youngsters is that in the end of days, Ketz Hayamim, at the end of all time, there's going to be a great war that's going to nearly bring about the destruction of the entire community. But God is going to send 12 emissaries from the heavens that will float down from the clouds and will bring the entire community to Jerusalem. Well, the war zone is just 2 days away. They can hear the cannons. And there's 12 of us. And we just fell out of the sky. And we told them we're from Jerusalem. You don't have to be Einstein. 2 + 2 is generally 4.
And the prophecy that he is mentioning is in Zechariah chapter 8, 7-8. And it's written, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God, in truth and in righteousness. But this is an end time prophecy when the Messiah restores Jerusalem on earth, as is also mentioned in Revelations. This is Revelations 21, 1 and 2. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for that first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy sea, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. The New Jerusalem is when Christ brings the new mind frame of God onto the earth. And Christ will gather his people onto the truth of God. But now we have Israeli soldiers trying to play his role. This is just another example on how people use God's will for their own gain, to establish a holy land that is not of God. And if you want to hear more of his experience, here is the YouTube title.